Good Thursday morning. It's the main event. I slept like a baby last night, Dale.
Boy, oh boy, you got lots of energy and anger
Woo.
and vitriol. You're mad at this person. You're mad at that person. You be mad at Sheehan?
No. Me. I love me some Sheehan.
No, I don't know. You talked about him off there, too.
Well, quit blowing us off on Wednesdays. Maybe I wouldn't have to talk about him. Superstition has taken over. Of course, he's going to join us here in just a minute, but I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. And you know him as 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, and just all around nice guy, Dale Hellestree, everybody.
Soon to be the grandpa of 3.
Yes, you got a third. Well, you don't. Your daughter has a third one on the way.
Yes.
So now with Beckett, the second one, they didn't let you anywhere near her until she was, what, 2.5, and then you were allowed to interact with her by yourself?
It was a little longer churning out process with me and Beckett than it was with Graham and I.
now another girl coming into the family
Yes.
in around April-May timeframe?
Yeah, I think it's, whatever's on there.
May something? Yeah.
May, I think. Yeah.
Yes, you found that out the other night. That's
Yes.
fantastic. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Maybe, you get a third chance to get one to like you. Look at you go.
Oh, Graham loves
Oh,
me.
no, he does. But you know what, though? Let's take a break on that. Let's push the break on that because Graham likes me, too.
Nah.
So he has judgment questions we need to worry about.
I mean, that's because you handed him $20 for your swearing jar.
You think he remembers that?
No.
Exactly. No, he doesn't.
He remembers the F word you said in front of him.
I know. When I saw him at that SCA game, he was like, "Hey, it's Bloop Steve." That was all. Is Pop teaching you that word again? Of course, today we got Sheehan right here coming up in just a few seconds. Of course, Scottsdale Christian Academy won their matchup against Morenci. Big matchup against Santan coming up this week. He'll be on in just a few. Uncle Lou today coming on as well at 9 o'clock. I had my HOA meeting. I survived it last night. I had a fight with my insurance company yesterday again, and a certain Ford dealership around town. I'm in fighting mood today, Dale.
Yeah? Well, save that for Lou. Save that for Lou, for crying out loud.
No, we're going to have some fun here today. Let's get it started with the bird's eye view. And, well, there he is, looking away there.
Oh, no.
Is he growing that mustache back?
Oh, no. That looked like Hitler's mustache, for crying out
Oh,
loud.
it does not stop it, dude. It's so much longer. It goes all the way across. It's just
You can
gray
see
and
it right
blonde.
under your nostrils.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the problem with that blonde hair. It
Yeah.
doesn't show up on that pasty white skin there, Coach.
All right, first
Hold on,
question
hold on.
before we even
Hold
talk.
on 1 second.
Are you?
Graham's texting me. He's Graham just sent me a text. Sorry, just saying good morning, Papa. I don't know why he's calling me Papa. But sorry. about
Maybe
that.
before we get into this, have you unofficially moved your appearances to Thursday morning because you're superstitious?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not trying to screw it up, but maybe there's a little bit to that. Maybe there isn't. Maybe I had something to do yesterday. Maybe I didn't. You know what I mean? It's one of those. Maybe.
I like it. Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did say the other day, it kind of made me question it when you texted and you said, "Can I move to Thursday, please?" And then you said, "Well, we played better on last week." And I was like, "Oh no," that's what he's attributing it to.
I might be a little superstitious. Like, there's some stuff that we've got the same sandwiches every single week from the same place, the same delivery guy on game days. I got to do the stuff at the same time, right out. There's a little bit of that in me for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We're not supposed to be superstitious, but there is a little bit.
I think every athlete and every coach. I mean, I always had to take the same path to the stadium. I always put my left shoe on before I put my right shoe on. Just little things. I just said it got me focused for the game. But
Yeah.
it's
Did you what? You did that thing where you told me you didn't wash your cup or whatever, right? Your
Yeah,
whole career?
yeah.
Is that what it was?
No, I
Yeah.
sent you a couple of my season-ending jock straps. Yeah.
Hold on. Colleen just looked at me. She just sees across the table. She just looked at me like, "What are you saying right now?"
There goes our female audience right there, gentlemen. There
She's
we
trying
go.
to eat right now. She got a little nauseous, but she'll make it through.
Well, let's talk about last Friday. Obviously, you guys put a bunch of points on the board. You held them to nothing. Give us 2 or 3 things that really impressed you about your performance as a team.
I think it was a little bit of a rebound game. I think the way the boys came out, their energy, their physicalness, the way they were locked in, and they kind of went back to having fun. And we talked about it that whole week prior. Actually the 2 weeks prior, right? Just kind of go back to having fun, and it seems like they were some kids playing a game again, and it showed. Obviously, they did their thing and they practiced well the whole week, and the energy was there. I think the energy was there. Having that loss against LA a couple weeks ago was definitely a great wake up call for us. So I think is just a perfect storm. We got a freaking heck of a one for tomorrow night, though. Jeez.
Right.
Yeah, what we're talking about last week. Did you run the ball more
keep
than
you
4
happy.
times?
We did run the ball. I think we the first 8 or 9 plays
Yeah.
were all run game. We the first series we ran the ball all the way down the field and scored. And I think we got to the next series and kind of ran a couple more times. And you have to be able to establish that to win playoff football. And I think it's something we want to work on. And it was successful last week, and hopefully we can run the ball tomorrow night. And we did run the ball more than 4 times. We ran the ball 5 times on the first series.
Yeah, 27 total carries if the stats are correct. Who was the stat keeper, by the way, since his dad was
That
out?
was my sister,
Yeah.
and my brother-in-law. So they were
Oh.
enjoying it.
So that was going to be my question. Okay, so I saw
Yeah.
2 people. Your dad normally does it, obviously out last week and everything. Give us an update on him in just a minute. But then two people had to take his spot and do stats here coming up as well. And I'm not going to tell on them. I'm just saying there was a couple times during the game where I was like, I hope they're taking good stats because I'm not. And I look down at them and they're just sitting there talking while stuff's going on. So
My sister probably is. They
joking.
actually did a really good job. I
joking.
told them they could be closer to the field.
Yeah, they were hanging
kinda
way
worried
back.
about being in.
Yeah.
But my dad will take it as a compliment. It takes 2 people to do his job, right? So I'm
Yes.
sure my dad is like, "Oh yeah, it takes 2 people to do that. Let me put the stats in." So we definitely missed him. Yeah, but my sister and my brother-in-law John jumped in.
First of all, how's he doing? Let's a lot of people asked me about that, and I was like, I didn't want to ask you during the game or after the game. First of all, give us an update if you don't mind.
He's doing better. He's at home. He's doing better. He's still he's still really like his neck's still banged up from the fall. So it's like, what is it, 9 days ago, I think, or something like that. Somewhere right around there. So he was really sick in the hospital for a couple days, begrudgingly laying there, being grumpy, trying to get out of there the whole time. But he was in the hospital he wanted to go to. But you know what I mean? He got to the hospital he wanted to go
Hey,
to.
Holly,
He's trying to get out
Holly,
of it the whole time.
if you're listening, remember that you take Mike to the hospital you want to take him to.
Yeah.
He's still complaining about that.
She don't listen to me at all anyway. So yeah, he's doing much better. Real sore today. I joked with him this morning. I said we're gonna have to put rails throughout his whole house. He's gonna have to have you ever see that commercial where it's a little what's it called? What's the wheelchair going up the stairs?
Up the stairs,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
We're just gonna get him a wheelchair on a track that just goes around the house. So you know what I mean?
Well, after you get done with his, put him in mine. I wouldn't mind some of those to go
exactly.
around
What a
either.
great idea, right? What a great idea. But
Yeah,
So
so
he's
no,
doing-
he's doing much better.
Yeah,
Shout
appreciate
out to
that.
Pop Sheehan, and I know he listens or watches, and speedy recovery.
Yeah, I took the whole family last week to the game, and I was all excited to meet him
Yes.
and everything. And then I was like, oh, you guys don't get to meet the star here either. So
He is the
but
star too. He's there first.
so
He's
I-
usually there before me.
my kids have a couple complaints though regarding that game last week because I told them it was going to be a fun game to go to. I told them it would go fast, so that was true. A couple-hour game. I think we were on the way home at like 9:10, and that was after talking to you on the field and everything. But also, they never want to go to a game again because it was boring because you just blew them out.
No.
So my kids.
Well,
have a
I don't think
complaint.
it's going to be. It'd be a good one to come to this week if they're looking for a good back and forth. So I feel like it'd be a good one. And honestly, I thought we just played well last week, so I wasn't expecting was it 55?
Yeah.
I can't remember the final
Well,
score. But
that's what I was going to say.
I didn't expect that.
I said earlier in the week, so I went back and watched some of it on Sunday again and all of that. And It was you guys played the best I think you played all season in this game on that Friday night. There wasn't. Now you still had some penalties. I talked to you about that after the game. I don't know if your opinions changed on that at all. Because you said, "Oh, we play hard, we play fast," so those things happen. But I mean, there's a lot of needless penalties in that game again. And I'm not talking about the ones in the fourth quarter where guys were still celebrating and you told them to knock it off and
it's
things
so
like
irritating.
that.
Wait, hold on. Let's tell that story really quick. We got in trouble for a kid. So we're up 42-0. A kid gets a strip sack and he's like shooting craps or he's rolling dice. And I'm like, well, I yelled at him and he comes over. He's like, emotions were high, coach. And I'm like, dude, it's 42-0. There's no emotions that are high. You ever do that again, you are not playing.
Shooting
dice.
Yeah,
He's doing like this arm motion thing. I didn't know what he was doing, but
like,
yeah.
Dude, he's never shot dice in his life, but he's seen everybody's just emulating it. But it's just a goofball. Like, I told him to have some fun this last week, and I think they had a lot of fun. I think that's when we get our energy high. But there was a question in there somewhere.
Well, no, it was just
a question in there.
It was just basically, has your opinion changed on the penalties? After the game, like you were like, "Oh, we were just playing hard," and sometimes that happens.
I know.
But I mean, there was a lot of those careless, pre-snap penalties and that type of stuff that creeped in throughout this game. Didn't hurt you at all in this game because then you got the yards back right away. But has your opinion changed on that from Friday night? Because you looked at me and smiled and said, "It just happens when you play hard."
Because I feel like it's weirdly part of our MO and it's really irritating me. But I'm like, it's the way we play is we play fun, we play loose, we do hit, we do those things. So you're gonna get some penalties, but yeah, like the pre-snap jumping off sides and doing all that stuff. We definitely had the football on a stick this week, and we're working that a little bit more, working some snap counts, doing all that kind of stuff. We can't give up the free yards in games like this coming up tomorrow night. So it's definitely something that we worked on again, and hopefully it kind of carries over to the game.
So really the third time that you late in the season played a run dominant offense. Did the previous two games working against those offenses, do you think that helped your defense Friday night?
I most definitely do, right? So we've been playing really good run teams, and I think we just had to figure out what we were best at and how we wanted to attack it, opposed to kind of excuse me, I had a little Dr. Pepper this morning, a little burpee this morning. But
thanks.
I just keep, if you see my
nobody
cheeks,
would know it if you wouldn't have said anything.
My cheeks keep puffing out. So anyways, yes. So I think So I think the run game is yes, our defense has been very beneficial to have the run team be playing against us right now. Dude, stop. Sorry, what is going on today? Hold on. Reset. Hold on. Yes. So playing Phoenix Christian and playing Morenci and playing ALA has helped us against the run game. We've done a little bit, just something different each week, and really been able to get our defense going a little bit. It's made our kids a little bit more physical, which, we weren't challenged a lot earlier in the year and through some of those games. So I feel like it's been great for us to get hit in the mouth. And I think we're finally getting to that point where, like, okay, we played some tough teams, battle through, hit some more people, changed some set technique, changed some alignments, and then I think I don't want to say we figured it out, but we've got better at it for sure.
Well, that was one thing that I noticed in this game that I didn't notice against Phoenix Christian, the ALA stuff that I saw, was you had some defensive guys get through that line to where when they were trying to do where's the ball type of moves, that's what I call it, and where they would go, your guys were there and they were either hitting the quarterback. There was a couple times where your guys were hitting the quarterback to where he couldn't give it to anybody that quickly and stuff like that. Obviously, that's adjustments that's been made from those first two games playing those types of teams and everything. And then this week you go back to your traditional side offense here coming up against Santan, right? A lot of running, a lot of passing here coming up this weekend. So how do you adjust the guys back to that style after playing that other style the last 3 out of 4 weeks?
I feel like they're very similar to us. I do feel like they're great. They got great skills players, big O-line, all those things. So they want to run the ball. They do it very well. They got number 0. They've got great running backs 2 and 7, and then 5 carries a rock from the wing a little bit. And there's just good athletes across the board over there. So we have been working on some stuff this week, but I feel like We just got to stay in our gaps, do our thing, keep playing tough defense. They're going to get their yards. We got to make, we have to limit what they do, kind of limit big plays, stuff like that. But we know they're a good football team, so they're going to get drives and all that stuff. And we're going to have to make sure we can try to get back momentum if they go score and stuff like that. But they're a good football team. It's going to be an interesting one Friday night. It doesn't feel like a quarterfinals game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, looking at their roster, a lot of sophomores on their team. They're a young team, on top of course, talking about Santan Charter you got coming up this week. How important, just my last question on last week, the end of that game, they got the ball and drove down the field, got down to the 1-2 yard line there with time running down. You guys were able to keep them out of that end zone as well. How important was it for that to happen there at the end of that game?
I love it because I feel like it was a no quit attitude in us. No matter what the score, whatever it is, 0-0, whatever, 42, whatever it is, the score. Like can you hear the dog squeaking the toy?
A little bit, but it's all right. I just thought it was you.
Oh, I thought that was Holly you were talking to.
I was yelling at the dog.
That's what she sounds like sometimes to me. But I'm joking.
Things are going to be thrown at him.
Don't laugh. It was not funny. It was not funny. That was not funny. But hey, I'm actually super proud of the way we finished that game. So back to your question. Isaiah Pfeiffer playing backside corner. They had a breakaway run. I think it was like a 65 yard run. He was full speed from the back corner, stopped that kid at the 1, and we had a goal line stand at the end of the game. I feel like that is so good for a team because you got to have that no quit attitude no matter the score. Like anybody could have just pulled up and let them score, slowly ran down the field, but it's a mentality thing. If you can do those things and you're going to continue it the whole time, like it's so good for you. Can you put her outside? It's time to go outside.
Oh my it's getting louder for some reason.
Dude, because she's right here. Like she's
but it was, and then I saw the enthusiasm on the sideline, with the stoppage and everything. And I think most games that I watched, people would just let them score, and be like, all right, game's over. Let's just move on and stuff like that. And so it was kind of interesting. It kind of stuck with me here as the week has gone on. So Santan Charter this week coming up Friday night as well at home up there at the turf at Tatum. I feel like by the way, I didn't hear him say it once again. Like he might have said it, but I am not hearing it like I did before.
To the show and
I know.
Maybe I shouldn't say that. Who knows?
This is what I asked Dale. I said, did we ruin that? Like, is he like self-conscious about it now? He doesn't want to say it.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. I honestly, I couldn't hear it. We had some from that big old screen and speakers. We had some neighbors get a little upset, so we had to turn the volume down a little bit. So yeah,
really?
Maybe he said it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, don't buy a house that backs up to high school. You don't mess with the turf on Tatum, homeowners.
I know the turf on Tatum is a mecca, right? Isn't it just a mecca in the middle of Scottsdale? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
So you got Santan Charter coming back up there. Of course, you guys played them last couple years, regular season, and then last year in the playoffs as well, where you guys ended up beating them to move on to the championship game. Didn't play them this year at all, and they've completely, I'm going to say, retooled with a younger roster there coming up, but they've looked good this year. And like you said, they're pretty much balanced. So what's the mindset going into this game, and how's practices been this week because of how you guys played last week and the energy coming out of that game? Is it still up there, or you're seeing a little bit of dip as the week goes on?
It is. I think it's still up there, right? Like honestly, we kind of like every coach does and all stuff. Don't let it be your last Monday. Don't let it be your last Tuesday. Like all those things. So, you try to take advantage of every minute, getting film a lot. But at the same time, try to still have some fun, right? So it's like, if you can keep these kids' energy up throughout the week, then it'll be there on Friday. They're hyped for it. And, you don't want to have anxiety going into games. Anxiety brings fear, right? And you want to be fearless when you're playing football. So just try to keep the anxiety out of the kids, prepare yourself to play a great football team. And honestly, like this game, it does feel like this should be a later in the playoffs game. Like the way the seeding works out is crazy. There's another one up top, the Tank Verde ALA game and Veritas, or no, Tank Verde and Veritas.
Yeah, Veritas.
And then you got freaking ALA and
St. John's.
St. John's. Like these games in the second round are unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Wilcox Benson. I mean, don't sell them short. Wilcox has been really good this year. I'm not as familiar with Benson.
That's a huge rivalry. Yeah. That's a huge rivalry between those two. So like every game, talking about 2A second round of the playoffs. This second round of playoffs is probably the best matchups I've seen in a long time
You know,
across the board.
you talk about the energy, and it's always interesting. Mike, we didn't talk about it earlier in the year, but when you end up playing 4 playoff games 2 years in a row and a state championship, huge, high pressure games, high stakes, big crowds, and all that, the adrenaline gets going. And then all of a sudden you're playing a game in September against Podunk U, for lack of a better word. Sometimes it's hard to get excited to play those games.
You're an SEC school playing Citadel last week.
Yeah, but now all of a sudden the end's in sight. I mean, you can see the end of the line, and that rejuvenation can happen. And now you're playing really, really meaningful games, so that energy level should naturally go up.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for, right? So it's like, and we talked about it. It's to go to the state championship 2 years in a row. It can get exhausting. We've played 2 more months of football than other teams have played. I've coached, I don't know, countless more hours, like all this stuff. It does weigh on you. It gets a little exhausting, but gosh dang it, I'm rejuvenated right now. I was kind of like, you going through the season, you kind of just like, man, this is long, and all of a sudden, like you said, then it's short. It could be over. I told those boys it could be over Friday at 10:05.
Yeah.
It could be over, right? So we're in that moment where you got to put your foot to the gas pedal and go. And I feel like we got that little rejuvenation. And I keep saying that ALA loss was, probably the best thing that could have happened for us. Hopefully it plays out this week.
Yeah, I mean, the
way
first
we want, but
yeah.
yeah.
The first thing you said
Go ahead.
I was standing right there. I don't know if it was to me or another gentleman there on the field, but I mean, you turned around and said that ALA loss was what we needed. You said it
Yep.
immediately after the game, after the team huddle, and that kind of just stuck with me. That you definitely needed that. You don't. I get the impression you don't think, not that you wouldn't have won last week or whatever, but you don't think this team would be where it is right now if you didn't go through that. After the season that you had out there, and bringing it up right after the game kind of just stuck with me a little bit.
No, I wholeheartedly think that. And I think I've been one of those coaches that tries to schedule as tough a schedule as I can. And honestly, if you look at Coach Cartwright, he did that this year. He scheduled Apache Junction, Seton Catholic, then they got St. John's for that crossover game. So I think you have to play in big games, especially at our level. You have to play good teams to be able to be prepared for playoff football. So it's because you can have this up and down type stuff with 2A football. I think playing those tough games and getting losses, you get so much more out of a loss than you do a win, right? So when we beat PC, we beat them in the last couple seconds. Yeah, we got some learning experiences out of that, but that hungriness might not necessarily be that for that next game because you still beat them at the end, and we stayed undefeated through that moment. But you don't have that hungriness that the kids need, and wins stack up and things become assumed. Once that's taken away from you, you want that feeling back. So I hope that did help us out. It feels like it. I don't know if it'll correlate to this week, but I do feel like it did help us for sure.
So you talked about their defense a little bit. You went Buddy Ryan on us, start spouting off some numbers and all that. Offensively, what do you guys need to do to win the football game on Friday night?
Got to run the ball in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Have to run the ball in the playoffs. And I said it, like I said it, I think last week or whatever, our percentages need to change. And our percentages need to be, if it's 50-50, 60-40, whatever that is, whatever we can do to be able to keep the ball, have a little bit of ball control. Because when the other team has the ball, that's their better chance to score, right? So when you're running the ball, you control the clock a little bit, maybe control the momentum, things like that. So we have to be able to run the ball to be successful. 100%.
Yeah, and I was just going back and looking at their game last week, and it was a close game for them against Pima at halftime. And then they kind of broke it open in the second half there. They had 30 carries, 12 passing attempts on that. So they were running the football, in that first half when it was a close game as well before they broke it open against Pima from there. So I agree with you. I think judging at this, we're seeing 2 evenly matched teams, which doesn't surprise me with the last 2 years watching you guys play each other, things to that effect. So, going into this game, it's going to be fascinating to see how they goes. I know some kids have graduated. Obviously, you have a bunch of kids coming back that did play against them twice last year. Went through both of those emotions and things to that effect. They famously had your logo up in the locker room and were very public about that last year. Things to that effect. How are you? Are you talking to the guys about that? This could be a revenge game or should be a revenge game for them. With the knockout of the playoffs. I mean, I told you a couple people that we know go to Santan Charter. And those parents were reaching out saying things after that win in the playoffs going, how did you do that? We didn't expect that to happen. So basically what I'm saying is revenge game possibly for them coming up. How do you prepare your guys for that?
Yeah, I totally think that if you're Santan Charter, you're chopping at the bit to play us, right? Like I definitely feel like that. So they beat us at home last year. They opened up the season in front of everybody. They beat us up last year, and they took that first win last year, and we were playing good football in the playoffs and got that second win against them. But they're going to have an extra little bit of juice for sure. I think they're going to be prepared. We just told our boys, we got to do our thing, right? So when you start to worry about everybody else more than you worry about yourselves is when you can get beat. So we really just try to concentrate on ourselves. We know a great football team's coming to the turf on Tatum, right? So we know they're coming. We just have to prepare ourselves in the right way, do the little things, cut down on penalties, and play our football. We know it's going to be a heck of a game. That's what we know. Yeah. We know it's going to be a heck of a game, no matter what happens. So we just have to prepare ourselves. Worry about the Eagles, right? Play free, worry about the Eagles, and then just do what we can and do what you're coached and make some plays.
Saw that some rain is moving in this weekend. Mike, what are the odds of this game getting over with in one night?
Could you imagine if it's like something like that? Could you imagine there'd be nothing that surprised me if it was like lightning, move, change to a different day. Like there would be nothing that surprised me.
Right.
I literally am not looking at it. People have told me, but I guess I've heard that it's in the morning.
Well, Friday
night, but
Friday
it's
is
supposed
pretty
to move
clear.
to Saturday.
Yeah.
I think it's moved to Saturday.
I'll put it this way: if you don't get this in Friday night, you ain't getting it in Saturday or Sunday either because the weather's
going to
worse.
be one of those crazy downpours again.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Yeah.
Over an inch of rain.
I know because I'm mentally preparing myself. Like Dale asked me yesterday, "You going to the SCA game?" I go, "Weather dependent." Because I'm going to the ASU game on Saturday. That kicks off at 11, and it's supposed to be raining at that time. And I'm like, I can't sit through 2 rain games. That's kill me.
Real quick, did you guys see? And I don't know, like any of that stuff. Did you see Obert?
Yeah.
See what happened with Obert?
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers with him and AVMs and my daughter had one of those, and they're scary and serious.
They're scary when you're young, and and as you get older, obviously it's a bigger deal, but. Obviously, faster with him because he's the preeminent high school coverage guy. I mean, you know him. He's been out to many of your games.
Everywhere.
That's the thing.
Everywhere.
It's not just going to be one guy that's going to take over for him, whether he takes a week off.
No one has that energy. Like, no one has that energy. So it'll be, I don't know how they're going to replace that. But sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. I just saw that and kind of hit me. It was like a little gut punch. I think that guy.
I was surprised. I mean, I've seen him recently, and he looks healthy and. Things to that effect. So when I saw that yesterday, I was like, I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, but I was like, oh, geez, that's kind of hits you when that stuff kind of happens, So, and it's and he's a big supporter of you guys in terms of what you guys are doing up there, and pays attention to you, which a lot of these reporters ignore 2A this time of year. You got a lot of love on that AIA 98.7 show on Friday night because that guy. The guy that hosted, I apologize, I don't remember his name, but he was at your game.
Cody Cameron, he's a good guy. Yeah. He's a real good guy.
He was at your game, so he gave you a lot of love at the beginning of that show because your game ended so early. But then it was quickly to the 3A, 4A, 5A, 6As, and like who are those guys? We know, yep. So you got to give love to these guys that actually go out there and cover you when they do have the bigger options to go to. So
I was kind of jealous. I was doing the Chandler Hamilton game.
And, I know, what a game! How about that Royce Oliver, man?
Oh, wow. Roy Oliver the third. Mike. It's absolutely. He toys with the guys.
Is he that good? Like, I haven't seen him in
Yes.
person. Is he that kid that just
that,
is he the most impressive one you've seen? Like, you saw Jake Smith, you've seen these other guys, you saw the kid from ALA, you've seen some great wide receivers. What do you think as a sophomore?
Well, as far as just dynamic offensive players, I mean, I put him in the Bijan Robinson class, and this
That's what I've
dude's
heard.
only a sophomore. And what really shocked me Friday night was the fact he's fast. He's fast. He's shifty.
yeah.
Got great vision, great instincts, but he's strong. I mean, dudes were trying to tackle him, and he's bouncing off guys, and you sit there and just shake your head, and you go, he's got 2 more years. It's not like you can early opt
crazy.
out of high school to go to college.
I was reading that he might reclassify. He was actually held back, so he might classify up a year.
But
I heard that this weekend. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to. I just said I heard that. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I mean, it's crazy. Like when you're telling me this about a young man, he's not even a kid I coach. Like that gives me chills for that kid. Like to hear about how good a kid is sometimes is so cool. Like I don't care if he plays for us or not. I love these Arizona kids that are just nasty. Like we are Arizona's represented across the nation now at all these colleges, and it's so cool to see. Like hearing about that kid. Like I read about him, I see him, haven't seen him in person, but man, like it's like he's worth the price of admission, right? He's one of those.
Well,
kids.
he's one of those. And we interviewed him after the game. Very humble, well spoken, giving credit to everybody else, and just one of those kids that you love to cheer for.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Sorry to go off track with all this stuff. But
well, yeah, I mean, get the game film and then show your guy. Holy cow, number one, I just forgot his name. Dom. Show Dom and be like, why don't you be more like this?
I know. I'll tell you what, Dom had a heck of a game last week, though.
Yeah.
Man,
I'll give you 2 compliments for your team. And the reason why they're compliments is because one, I don't know how to phrase this without making it sound bad, but Autumn noticed your energy on the sideline. She kept going, these kids are so cute, because the way the kids were on the sideline and acting.
That means we got good energy. That means they're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like,
fun,
don't use the word cute. That's insulting. But then
Yes.
Chew, my 17-year-old, pointed out Dom got the ball early in that game, number one, and even Ethan was like, oh wow, what is that kid good? And I was like, that kid's special. 25, of course, does his things with the running game and all of that. And so when people that haven't been to your games or don't follow you and stuff, and they can sit down and they watch football, but they're not X's and O's like we break down and stuff. And when they sit down and they notice it early in the game, all of that stuff, I mean, it just shows you the level that you were playing out there on Friday night. And I get whatever to that. I get numb to that stuff. So to see it from other people was kind of fun to see out there. And hopefully it happens again on Friday night, right?
That's man. It's the hope. That's the hope. We've been practicing to hope that it would. So yes, that's the goal.
Were you guys out there in the dark walking through this morning?
Yeah. Did you see us or something?
No. Do you turn the lights on?
No, because the neighbors.
Yeah,
so
the
we were
neighbors
out there going through kickoff return, special teams. It's good for them. They got to pay attention to the ball a little bit more that way. So
You're like,
a little bit.
So you're like NAU where you catch a ball, a touchdown pass in the dark. Do you guys see that where the lights went out against NAU?
No, did they pop? Did they turn off or something?
Yeah, the lights turned off right in the middle of a play, and the guy ended up catching
Stop it.
But they made him replay the
Didn't they
play
count it?
because the lights were out. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say they should have counted it.
I know. I was like, you got to let it count at that point, don't you?
Yes.
But it was. I mean, the guy had already thrown the ball. It was like, that was happening regardless. I thought it was kind of dumb.
Was it NAU that caught it or the other team?
NAU? Yeah, NAU.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say if it was the other team, that would have been
call
very
it back, call it
suspicious.
back.
But obviously, yeah. Yep.
You don't worry about injuries when it's dark like that because you got a lot of concrete, a lot of,
It's more of like a walkthrough.
Yeah.
It's nothing crazy. So we
Twist
obviously
an
we
ankle.
run through our plays and do that stuff, but it's not like we're hitting in shells or anything like that. It's more like lock in. Here's what our jobs are. This is what we're doing. Run through our plays. Run through our defense, special teams, kind of through everything.
Everybody on time?
About a 45. Yeah, everybody was on time.
Okay.
Everybody's except for Paulie, except for Coach Clark, the D coordinator. He came jogging down. It's a slow jog, but he came jogging down to the field a couple minutes late. It took him a while. He was going down that hill. I thought he was going to tell me.
Oh, you would want to see that.
You guys remember those potato bugs that just roll, like turn into a circle and they just roll? Like that's what I was expecting just to see him roll. But
Oh, shout out to Paul.
So what's the rest of today like? You did your walkthrough this morning. What's the rest of today like? And then what's tomorrow like leading up to this game at 7:00?
Rest of today is just I'm gonna go hit the gym, hit the sauna. I gotta get some little bit of my stresses out. That's what I'm doing right now. So do that. Got some work to do. I don't know if you're asking just personal, got some work to
No,
do.
just asking what the
son,
days
coach,
are leading up to a
yeah,
playoff game, because I think people expect coaches and players to just be like, oh, games at 7:00 and just thinking about it constantly. So what do you do leading up to it?
dad and a husband, right? So my wife wants me to leave today. So she doesn't want me to be around. She said she wants some alone time. So I'm gonna go to the gym, get out of the house apparently. And then later on I'll be dad and I coach my son's flag football team. So we'll practice from 3 to 4 today, watch some football tonight, watch some film while I'm watching football. And then tomorrow just get ready to go. I'm trying not to live and die by the moment, because as soon as you do that, like the anxiety creeps in and you start to and you're going to be too tight for it, right? So I'm just trying to stay loose, do my thing, don't do anything different, and enjoy life, because Saturday at 10 p.m. there's going to be an outcome no matter what. I hope I'm on the right side of it, but there's going to be an outcome no matter what. And there's a lot of people's lives out there that I want to be hanging out with my wife, my kids, all that stuff. But I want to push it back a couple more weeks. But it's just kind of do your thing and kind of go through life and
You brought your son up and his team, so you win a big game last week against Morenci. How'd you guys do on Saturday?
It was awesome. We had a bye. So we're still on the schneid, but we had a bye week, so it was a good week. We didn't put an L in the loss column.
Here's
so
my question: how many rumblings do people report to you of parents going, "Oh, he can win it, Scottsdale Christian, but he can't win at flag football"?
Fire him!
Honestly, so if you want the honest answer, so here's if you got a 1 or 2 minute, here's Coach's minute right again. So here we go. So I coach a little bit differently at this age. I do not care about winning at all. And I think I said that in the past. Like, I'm trying to bring youth sports back to youth sports and not do this like specification and have these kids do this. Like, every kid plays everywhere. We have 15 kids on a 5-on-5 flag football team. So if you can imagine how hard that is to rotate we rotate every play. There's a new offense every play. And we're just like group 1, group 2, group 3. And we're just playing. They get tons of reps. We build them up. We have fun. If we lose, half the time the kids don't know because they're still enjoying it. And that's the love that I'm trying to bring to these guys. So all I care about is, hey, let's enjoy this. Let's play youth football. Just like you're going out, you're going to learn the game, but I want it to feel like recess. So when you leave, win or loss, you're still smiling. So that's where I'm at.
Well, Mike,
awesome.
and it's funny because you saw me there. My grandson Graham was playing. He's 5 years old. And, their coaches have the same modus operandi to where, he's playing safety sometimes. And it's like, Graham's future isn't at safety. And,
he's more of a hand in the dirt type guy.
Yeah,
but
as I tell everybody that's standing around, because there's some dads that are yelling and screaming at their kids. I'm like, hey, your whole goal is for them to want to come out and play next year. And then you want them to come out and play the following year. And at some point, yes, all of a sudden it becomes a little more serious. But if you're making it too serious at 5 and 6, they're going to say when it's time to sign up next year, I don't want to play.
I had that a couple weeks ago. There's a kid on my team. Love him to death. Sweetest. All these kids are sweet kids. Like, they're all great kids. And he dropped a pass and he comes over and he's like almost hyperventilating, right? And I'm like, oh man, what's going on, buddy? He's like, I'm just so stressed. And I'm like, man, you are 9 years old. You have 1,000 more games in your life. I'm like, am I stressing you out? And he's like, no. And I'm like, don't be stressed, man. Just have fun. Literally pretend like you're literally at school and recess is going and just enjoy the game. And the stress that some of these kids put on themselves because they watch NFL football, or maybe it comes from the parents. I didn't know if it did in this point. I don't think so, but I don't know. But, the kid was like, I'm so stressed out. I'm like, man, just have fun. Right. We don't need to be doing that. Like, let me take care of all the stressful anxiety stuff. If another coach is blitzing us the whole time and you're up 35, I'm going to yell across the field. That's the only time I'm going to be doing that kind of stuff. But I feel like take the stresses away, have some fun, and parents need to chill out. Our parents are awesome. There's
some parents out
super
there
serious.
So you
coaches,
mean I thought that you told me that you were going to institute that with your young kids, every draw a pass, they're doing 10 up downs. So they're not doing.
Well, we still do that. We still do that. You still better catch the pass, right? So they got to.
Yeah, you still got to do your job.
For the push-ups, but still got to do your job and be like, look at it.
Start running. Start running.
There's a little bit of that in me. I still have that, like, oh, I'm coaching them like I'm coaching my kids. Let's tone it down a little bit, but there's a give and take for that. So a little bit like hard on them, but loving. Hard on them and loving.
Good.
All right. Well, so Friday night up there at the turf. I like how we're bringing it back. We've made fun of it for weeks. I've made fun of it for weeks, and I just keep bringing it back. Turf and Tatum, Scottsdale Christian Academy, Friday night, 7 p.m. Should be a great game there against Santan Charter. Looking forward to it, Coach. Hopefully, the rain will stay away. How about we say that? I'll sit in it in the ASU game.
Let's just have a good, healthy game, and whoever rolls the ball out and plays best deserves it, and the weather doesn't have anything to do with it.
I'm more worried about me and the weather, Coach, than you guys.
All right, come on.
I think my dad's got a poncho. My dad will be in the stands, so he'll bring me a poncho.
All right, good. I'll be able to see him there on Friday night as well. And I refuse to do a poncho. You'll see me drenched and looking miserable with pneumonia long before I put a poncho on.
So tough.
I don't know. It's stupid, but I refuse to do it.
I'm the same. But I'd rather be miserable than put something stupid looking on. So I'm with you on that. Yes.
Exactly. So we'll see you on Friday night, and good luck to you. And we'll see you next week here as well on a bird's eye view. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, one quick thing.
Yep.
Tell Lou, always take the over on the Bears. All right, boys. I'll see you later.
You remembered that? That's gonna bring that up to him today. Funny you brought that up. So yeah.
Oh yeah, always take the over on the Bears.
Will do.
Caleb Williams.
I'm smelling 85 Bears coming at me.
Oh hey, five fourth quarter comeback wins. Yeah. They lead the league in turnovers. Robert, you can deal with it. The Bears are freaking 6-3 right now. We're rolling. Super Bowl, Super Bear, boys. I'll talk to you
I kid you not. I was looking at the things. We talked about it yesterday and looked at it, and I pulled up the the NFC North standings, and I know the Bears are winning, but I was like, God, they're 6-3. They're like tied for first in that division. Even though you know it's there, it's just in the back of your mind you don't recognize what they're doing. So, all right, I'll tell Lou, and have a good one, Coach.
The Bears are who we thought they were. I'll talk to you guys. Or who I thought they were.
Friday night, 7 p.m. against Santan Charter. I'll be back to keep it going until Lou joins us here at the top of the hour. Dale, you know him. He takes off today and goes and helps out those guys over there who need a lot of help, talking about the measles outbreak and everything. So have fun over there, Dale. We'll talk to you later. Everybody else, come on back. I'll get you started until Lou comes in at 9. We'll have a lot of fun here left in the show. See everybody. Come on back. And I'm back here. Main event, of course, Dale takes off here on Thursdays. Lou's coming up at 9 o'clock as well. Talk some UFC, NFL coming up this week as well. So looking forward to that. But before Lou comes on here, don't forget, text us 623-252-6670. Robert, fantastic question there. And I apologize. I didn't have Twitter loaded up. I thought I did, so it didn't get alerted to this. But Robert says, I'll see if I can get a hold of him and get this answer for you. Maybe you can do a Zoom call or something. But Robert says, need to ask Coach if any of the players have started their playoff stash and if theirs are better than his. Knowing the players and seeing the players when I go, I doubt any of them can get any facial hair. It's probably all patchy. Have to see if we can get that answered for you, Robert, there. But I apologize, I missed that earlier as well. But you guys can tag us as well at TME Sports Show on X, 623-252-6670. Of course, you can text us anytime that you listen to the show, whether it be on the free podcast system that you can like and subscribe to, the YouTube page for the on-demand as well. We put these interviews up there. Check that out as well, and like and subscribe to that page as well. And whether you listen to us there on demand here at Robat TV or live, hit us up at any of these places here, and come and join the show with us as well. We'd appreciate it. We'd love to hear from you out there as well. And I know I have a few people that DM me like after the show, just on Twitter, whatever. Just however you want to interact, it's fun. Usually bring it up on the show and all of that stuff, but. So yesterday, a couple fun things, right? One, the Suns got the win last night over Dallas, and they didn't play well at all, especially in that first quarter. Then in the fourth quarter, right, they kind of went back to what I call iso ball, give it to Devin Booker, let him hang around. But they end up getting the win yesterday as well for your Suns. And if you're not watching the Suns teams early on, I get it, right? It's a busy time. Football's on, although it was a Wednesday night, not a lot of football on. But this 123-114 victory, it's just a fun team to watch. Now, the bad side is it's a back-to-back. They got Indianapolis tonight, the Pacers. Pacers are not good this year. Halliburton's obviously out. After their finals run, they're missing, lots of other players there. They're not a good team. But the Suns now, they started off, had that 1-4 start. Now they're winning games against these bad teams. And that's what I thought they would do. That's why I like the Suns as the over this year. I believe it was 33.5. I should look that up. But in that 30 range there. That's why I like the Suns on the overs, because they're better than a lot of the bad teams in this league. And they're not as good as, of course, Dallas, whatever. They will surprise not Dallas, Denver and those types of teams. They will surprise some of those teams this year because the Suns are playing harder than everybody else. We've talked about that numerous times. But the other side of it is that the Suns, Grayson Allen's had a good couple good games now as well. Colin Gillespie's had good games throughout. Dylan Brooks is back causing technicals. I don't understand why Dylan Brooks is bothering you at the free throw line or when you're, on the edge of it, lined up, why you're reacting to Dylan Brooks trying to bait you into a technical and then you eventually get one. I don't get why you fall for that, but whatever. If it works, right? Going forward from that side. But this team just spreads it around, right? Jordan Goodwin, 13 points last night in his 20 minutes as well. You're seeing some movement. You're seeing some guys, it's being spread around, which is making it fun as well. Now it's hard, right? My whole stance is play Rasheer Fleming, play Malwatch. And see what they can do, especially early in the season here. And it's hard to justify now. When they were 1-4, you could justify why aren't you playing those guys. But now these coaches' decisions on not playing them and giving them the experience, it's hard to justify playing them now when the rest of the team is doing what they're doing out there. But the one thing that I did find most interesting last night in this Suns game as well, the Mavericks are terrible. They just fired their GM, and I'm kind of worried about that. Like, okay, this Dallas Mavericks are doing a reset here with their GM, getting rid of Nico yesterday. Will they come out and have a little bit of a flair to them? Jason Kidd, of course, new boss coming in, things to that effect. I don't know if it was the Mavericks playing better, the Suns playing terrible in that first quarter kind of was the difference. But as you went into that. So, Phoenix started, I think it was 1 for 9, if I remember correctly, from the 3-point line. Then they ended up going on fire from the 3-point line again, second game in a row where they've done that as well. But the Suns are creating those steals now and turnovers. They had 13 steals last night against the Mavericks as well. So, that's good. Obviously, turnover, and then you score on those turnovers are what you need to do. They had 31 points off those turnovers last night as well against Dallas there as well. So, interesting enough. And then, I don't know if you guys saw this. This was fascinating to me because we talk about replays, we talk about officials, we talk about refs. Basketball, to me, is the most suspect refereeing of any major sports. If you were to tell me right now that every ref in the NBA was on the take, I'd go, okay. It would not surprise me. It just wouldn't. Lou's over here laughing at me. It wouldn't. It is that bad of officiating at times in the NBA. I'm not saying they are. I'm saying if that happened and you told me that was happening, I would literally go, okay, yeah, makes sense. I'm just telling you. That's how I feel about NBA refs. They're terrible at times. But they're implementing things that are fascinating to look at here when they do it. Did you guys see this as well last night in the game? This is that they call it court IQ is what they're calling it. There's a goaltending call here, so they have to go and review it. Look at the technology here with chips in the ball, all of that stuff out there. And then you sit here and wonder, like, why can't the NFL figure out if a ball crosses the end line with that before it knees down? Well, how can the NFL not figure out, what if it get a first down or not with the ball and stuff to that effect, right? The technology's there. The NBA utilized the first time I'd seen it this year, especially. This is called Court ID or Court IQ, excuse me. Let me show you kind of what the NBA looks at here on this. Oh, actually, never mind. Kobe doesn't have that video. Do you have? Let me ask. Sorry, guys, I have to do production. Kobe, do you have 2 videos? Oh, never mind then. He does not have that one out there. But what they did was, so I screwed that up, folks. I'll take the heat for that. I'll blame Kobe later, but I'll just tell you guys it's my fault. So what they did was, right, it went to a computer simulation, and they could tell that the ball was on its downhill descent, barely, when they called the goaltending. I think it's phenomenal that stuff can help out these referees because, you guys tell me if a ball's going down or up, right, on a deflection and stuff like that. It can be very close to that point. So this technology can help out officials and see this stuff. It was fascinating to see. So I'll make a note here and get that video and everything, and maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. But the big thing here that I want to talk about is I'm going to set this stage for you. College football last night. Lou, I know you're a college football guy. You enjoy watching it. You don't gamble. You don't cover it, I should say, right? You don't handicap it. Well, let me set the stage for you out there. UMass is playing last night, University of Massachusetts, and they're just in a barn burner of a game. They're just down at that point. You know what? I don't even know who they were playing. Another one of those scrub teams. I'm gonna look it up right now since you brought it up. And no, you're good. And I didn't even think to pull it up and take a look at it here because this is a video from somebody in the stadium. Northern Illinois, that's right. They were playing Northern Illinois. And UMass is out there and game's coming to an end, and it's been a barn burner for them. They struggled out there and everything, and they kick a field goal, folks, and they make it. Let's check it out. Let's see what UMass does when they make a field goal here. End of the game, they kick a field goal, they make it. Let's look and see what happens. Fireworks galore, Lou. Fireworks galore? Oh, let's check out the score. Yeah, they scored 3 points. They stopped. 6:13 left in the fourth. The shirtless fans are out there celebrating, twirling their shirts. Folks, they were down 45-0. Kicked the field goal, 45-3. They threw off. Hey, you paid for the fireworks. Might as well use them. Might as well use them. Crowd celebrating shirtless. I don't know why I find that so funny. But I do. I find it absolutely hysterical as well. Kobe, what'd you say? Oh, he gave me some time there as well. So, yeah, it's look, you bought the fireworks, you might as well celebrate. They ended up going on losing 45-3 to Northern Illinois as well. I feel like if you're getting blown out and you do something good, you should celebrate it. Celebrate. Just like that. Hey folks, let's just end the hour early, come back with Lou and get it started. Here with him, UFC talk, of course, NFL talk as well. So come on back, folks. Second hour, main event, coming up next. And we're back here, second hour main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum, and on Thursdays, look at this. Uncle Lou comes in and joins us every Thursday. Of course, Gamblu.com. See him on Visa Network as well as a contributor with those shows, a bunch of those shows. Of course, Gamblu.com is his big thing there where you can find him and everything. Lou, first of all, how you doing? And then tell everybody what you do, where they can find you, and all the good you are in the world.
There's a lot of good in the world, and I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Steve's generous enough to segment part of his week for sports gaming. I look at things how I was taught and from the process of 45 years. I'm lucky enough to have a web page. It's called Gamblu.com, and you can go to the web page to find out everything I do, all about me. It's very simple and easy to navigate. The one thing that Steve's great about is allowing me to highlight the San Xavier mission, which is the oldest mission in the United States. I have a tab dedicated to it at the top right of the webpage. And there you can find out about the great work that they're doing just south of Tucson here in Arizona. The mission was established in 1690. There's a whole community there. Gamblu's happy enough to contribute to the mission and invite everyone to take a look at it and can consider contributing themselves. If not, just take a look at a really, really cool structural piece of architecture that was erected in this late 1500s. So thanks so much, Steve. And now we get into the heavy part and the heavy lifting because we got UFC, we got NFL.
Yeah.
That's a lot for me, but there's also hockey, basketball. There's a lot of stuff going on.
And the hockey, I mean, the Utah Mammoth and the hockey world are playing really well to start the season. The Arizona Coyotes, of course. And they're playing really well up there in Utah this year. So we might have a playoff run. You might be talking about the Utah Mammoth come up playoff time here, coming up here in hockey time in the NHL. Interesting that might happen.
I've been searching for their gear.
I love their dark jersey.
I do hoodies, but zip down, not pullover, full zip. And you can't find a Mammoth one outside of one that has just a small little logo. I'd like to have the light. You know,
I like their. I don't like their white jerseys. It just says Utah down it, but I like their dark ones with that mammoth head on the front.
The mammoth head is cool,
sharp,
and that's. I got involved right away with the Seattle hockey
the Kraken?
team.
Yeah,
the
that's
Kraken.
right. Yeah.
I have Kraken gear, so I want some Mammoth gear. I'm big into gear, but you know the holidays are coming up. I'll maybe have Mom buy me.
I was gonna say, so have somebody just be nice, and maybe you'll get something, Lou. Right?
Maybe.
Of course, you've got your blog up there as well. We have a numbered event this week.
Oh yes.
Or don't forget, we got just a few fights remaining before it switches to Paramount now. Paramount's doing a price increase next year. They're getting the UFC's no pay-per-views. No shocker there. They announced the other day they're doing a price increase on their streaming unit, but it won't be $80 a fight like a pay-per-view fight is.
Well, 80 a month times 12, do the math, 960.
Yeah.
Paramount better be awful expensive for me to spend 960. So I'm in.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I think it's $10.99 right now. Is their most expensive.
So they go to
even if they
$20
raise
a month.
Yeah, even if they raise it to 15,
gives a
16, like it's a blink of an eye, especially.
That's chump change for a guy like Steve.
Especially, that's why I don't pay for pay-per-views, right? Especially when you get UFC fights most weeks of the year. It makes it worth it if you're into that stuff out there as well. But most importantly, this week's fights are in New York, right? Madison Square Garden. For that fight as well. So that'll be fun getting back into, the garden, if you will. But last week's fights, it was the Apex. We talked about a bunch of those fights going into them there and everything. And I'm pulling up here my notes. I apologize.
I offered last week.
Did you?
Yeah, 0 for 4.
Favorites just dominated then is what I'm going to guess.
I mean, I'm sorry. I never come prepared to talk about the past week. I was
stalling.
My mind doesn't think that way.
I was stalling, to be honest.
I don't
with you,
think so. If I remember correctly, in fact, I have it here. All I know is that they're faves are 64.2 on the year.
Okay.
That's 1 percentage point above.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain my lack of virility as far as picking the right underdogs this year. It's been a challenging year. That said, I've got 5 units I'm waiting to cash, provided Aspinall is the heavyweight champ at
Yep.
the end of the
Yeah,
year.
that.
That's 5.3 units is going to come and slash our debt, which is great. Now I have like 4 cards to take care of about 8-9 units. And so it's going to be important for these last cards to hit. And I knew that last week and told my clients, all right, we're going to have a big week. And then I stood up there. You saw the cartoon where they throw the knuckle
wiffle
ball
ball,
at the
yeah.
guys doing this. That's what I did last week.
Well,
So
I-
that means I may come back hot this week.
Well, so a couple questions on the fights last week. Your McVeigh got his fight. You know, it was a third different challenger in a
Yes.
short time frame. Went out there, ended up getting performance of the night in terms of that fight. McVeigh did not get the win. Submitted in the second round. Is this a byproduct of him having a different opponent and changing opponents 2 other times before they land on him? Or was Zach Reach just the better fighter in here?
Well,
against
Reese
McVeigh?
came in on ultra short notice from Texas, and they had it at a catch weight. But, you know, these guys never really are too far from the gym. He said he was eating pizza when he found out he had to put the pizza down. Isn't that terrible? Anyway,
It sounds like me.
McVeigh is young. That was his second fight. He's
Yeah.
going to have to improve. He was very uneven in his performance, but he was strong and game and willing and won the first round. I believe if he stays with it, the lab will make something of him. And that, you know, it's the fight game and it's tough. You don't win them all. I'm on the maybe fade Reese side.
But Zach Reese, who ended up submitting
moving
him.
forward, but
Yeah.
maybe, you know, we'll see. It
Well.
depends on who the matchup is. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's impressive coming off your couch, stuffing your face with pizza in literally days. This wasn't, he found out a week in advance
6,
or a week and a half
7
now.
days.
It was quick from that. But yeah, McVeigh, obviously, MMA lab up there in North Phoenix.
and,
So that.
and because each fighter accepted the fight on such short notice because the UFC had time slots to fill and
Yeah.
everything, imagine that they got bonus money.
Yes, exactly as well. What does the catch weight fight mean? Just whatever
That means
show
that
up and
these
play?
2 guys always fight at 185 pounds. But for this fight, because one guy got off his couch
Yeah.
and put pepperoni pizza down, the other guy, you know, what fight was on, off, on, off. On. Okay, now we got you a guy, and now you're back on. Okay, the dude from Texas who won the fight, Reese, says, I'll take it, but I got to be 95. I can't make 85. They say, okay. They jam it through the commission. And all of a sudden, presto changeo, you got yourselves a fight.
Exactly. I got to get through that Vegas commission, right? Nevada commission. Chris Padilla and Ishmael Bonfim, the brother there. Bonfim ended up getting KO'd in the second round here in this fight. My big thing here is more on the Padilla side than it is the Ishmael Bonfim side. Here, I mean, your opinion on Padilla after this fight with this knockout win?
Dude's a warrior, but he beat a bully front runner.
Yeah.
You know, this kid come out thinking he's going to steamroll over him, and after a round of beating the bejeebies out of Padilla's still there, returning fire. Now, this Padilla's a dog. Somebody better watch out for him. Undefeated. How's the undefeated guy last week? The underdog.
Yeah, that was the
I should
question.
ask myself because I didn't bet the fight, but.
Hindsight, like you always say, man, if you can look back and say, I should have bet that or I should have bet more on that.
No, if I
That's
could
not a
bet
bad thing.
last week's card right now, I guarantee I'd go 95%.
That's the worst part is I probably would still struggle at it, to be honest with you. But
Well, that's why I said 95%. I'd still miss something.
then you got the main event here, the Gabriel Bonfim, his brother, there against Randy Brown in this fight. Performance of the night, they did get bonus here as well. Brazil versus Jamaica. Bonfim ended up second round to KO there against Randy Brown. Bonfim, now you like the other brother you consider him a front runner, not all there. Gabriel, with this win here, does it change your mind on him at all?
Yes, because I didn't know he had that kind of might and aggression on the feet. And to penetrate Brown, a veteran like he was, definitely raised an eyebrow. And I had Brown, but Brown was asleep going down. Sometimes when you're out, the floor wakes you up. And that's exactly what happened here. I think it was a good stoppage. And
Yeah, it's a lot of controversy on that as well. a lot of people.
Not
all right.
from me, and I had the dude that got ice. So
Yeah.
I mean, their competitive nature's like, no, I wasn't. Yes, you was.
Yeah. Until he hit that ground, he was not moving.
He was
And then when he
90
hit the ground, he
nighttime, maybe.
moved. Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I've seen enough of it to know. And he's a good young kid, but at 36, 35, he didn't have many more chances. Meanwhile, the young Bonfim 27 moves onward and upward, and that's what all these are about.
Yeah.
These are high-level, high-pressure fights we're going to see this weekend, and each guy that can win will really, or gal, will market and project themselves up in exposure and earnings power.
What does it say? 'Cause the other controversy thing in this fight was, and I can't remember who it was just now off the top of my head here. I wrote it down. I can't find it. The gentleman that ended up, he fought a guy that missed his weight over the weekend and ended up still taking the fight. Got
was
an
Padilla.
increase in a. Oh, that was Padilla. Okay. Oh, that's right. That's who it was. It was Padilla.
Yes, sir.
And then, he took the fight. He
went out there
submits
and
him out
beat
there
his
as well.
brains out.
Exactly. But then isn't it a bad look that they sit there and beg for bonuses and everything?
No.
You don't think so?
Come on, man.
First of all,
Bad look. Yes.
first of all,
It-
Dana White's got a colder heart than I do. 'Cause
he
I would've been
thinks
like,
it's a
"Hey,
bad look.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the world to understand what
Okay.
I've been telling you on this show since you've had me, and that is foundational to the profit margin for the UFC is their ability to deal with a non-represented fight club. They're independent contractors. They are completely financially abused. Are they mentally abused? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying financially the UFC is taking advantage of that situation to pad its pockets. That's why it keeps getting sold. That's why there's millions more. And you have a strong leader there that's going to dictate stuff. For instance, a fighter or two here.
Yeah.
And hey,
Yep.
listen, it is what it is. But you hear me start to say, you'll see on this fight card, there's a guy they want to win, and I'm going to go on him.
Yeah, just first of all, I'm gonna say fantastic story. I don't mean it in that sense because it's kind of a sad story, but just the way he was pleading for it. And look, and it's not like he went in there and just beat a guy up. He still took the fight, took the extra purse with a guy that missed the weight and Ishmael Bonfim and all of that stuff out there. And then he goes out there and just kicks the crap out of him. And then like I said, this is begging for it and then not getting it as well was kind of like, man, what are we doing? That's not a good look. I'm
And
just
that's
a
why the
casual.
UFC is doing that, because they don't want you to beg. And so now, if you think you got a shot, the last thing you're going to do is ask for it,
That's the
because
thing.
they don't want that on TV.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. It's unfortunate.
Then his post stuff was, I watched a lot of his post stuff afterwards, and he just kept going on and on about it and stuff like that. And
that would be life-changing money for a kid like that.
Absolutely. I mean, he made it clear, and not just for him. It was, to help his mom out and, tug at the heartstrings. I mean, but that also says something too. I mean, how about Warriors? He goes into a ring, into a octagon, where a guy's ready, trying to kill him, right?
Yes.
And he ends up dominating and everything. And the first thing after that fight is, I got to help my mom out here.
Yeah, no,
And I got to ask for this bonus, the way I
culture and
performed
the
and all
kid-
that. It's amazing.
The culture and the kids are amazing. I get to hang around at this gym. They're all motivated. They're young. They're sober. They're focused, and they give off tremendous energy. I absorb as much as I can when I'm there. Being a 66-year-old guy, it's great. It's like when you go to homecoming at college campus. Man, you feel vibrant because there's nothing but 20-year-olds around. It's a vibrant and full of life situation.
I just get tired, Lou.
But anyway, as far as Padilla is concerned, I feel for him. I hope he does well. He'll get another fight.
Yeah.
He'll get a bonus eventually, I'm sure. It's just you better not cross Uncle Dana.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just I was just sitting back going, all right, so maybe he didn't deserve a bonus. In some of those other fights I watched that they did bonus, I was like, and then I saw the accusations of he didn't get the bonus because he asked for it, stuff to that effect. But just from Dana White's perspective, I know he doesn't care, but it's like, man, you got to do something to just help your image, everything. But Dana White's the type of guy that's like, I don't care.
No, they have the contender
care.
series to make things tough on Padilla. Yeah. So Padilla's next fight, if he's about to earn 10 to show up and 10 if he wins, that's 20. But he gives 40% of it away. Then there's taxes. I mean, he walks away with $7,000. Whoop-de-doo. So if he wants more money, and the UFC says we want you to make this fight, can I make more money? Because we got a contender guy over here that will walk in and fight for free.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And so the
yeah,
pressure
terrible.
on the middle tier of UFC fighter that has bled for the UFC is tremendous. It's a ruthless game. Young people out there, think twice before you get into mixed martial arts.
Before you get into that
outside
business.
of well-being and fitness.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of reasons not to get in.
Mental well-being and fitness is great, but if
Yeah.
your goal is the UFC, please get a college degree or find a supplemental, because you're going to need one. Any athletic career is fleeting to begin with, and there's no crueler sport than a sport where your athletes have no representation.
Absolutely. So it's just an interesting take to see. I've just so much negativity. You know, the gambling scandal we talked about, then that situation. You know, and it's just it's taken the shine off of the sport. And it'll be interesting to see. Eventually, if it keeps happening like this, you'll start to see it kind of wilter a little bit. But these are the first stages of it, so we'll have to see where it moves from there.
Well, I think if we're worried about fighters throwing fights, I don't think you have to be, because it'll be obvious, and they'll get banished from the UFC and probably put in the penitentiary. I mean, everything Dana says is true. They're going to prosecute you,
after
man.
that guy,
I'll tell you what, my dad taught me a young age, only get in a fight with someone you can win. And if you're going to get in a fight with Dana White, go good friends with the President Trump, you're biting off quite a bit more than I would.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's like the old adage. I'm not afraid of the lawsuit. I'm not afraid of not winning the lawsuit. I'm afraid of the lawsuit because of what it takes to fight it, to win it, and all of that stuff. So this week though, we go to Madison Square Garden, 8 p.m. our time is the main card here. So late one here for us, and then of course they're on the East Coast as well. There at Madison Square Garden,
8 p.m.
Yes, I know.
What am I
going to
be
be
do?
up?
What am I going to do? I have to watch it when I wake up at 4 a.m.
UFC 3. Well, so the weigh-ins are still normal time tomorrow morning, right? And
the weigh-ins are at 7 a.m. our time, because we're Mountain, and they are at 9 a.m. local time, which is Eastern.
That's
so
a big difference there for the main card guys. Of
Works
course,
perfect for me though, because I have a VEASAN spot at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and that was right when I wanted to walk my dogs. Well, now that we changed time, and I hate Mountain time, but now that we changed it, that's 6:30. So I get to walk my dogs, do my VEASAN thing, and then I'm going to go right into weigh-ins. So,
weigh-ins on top of it, yeah. That's fantastic there. So you obviously being a UFC 322 here means there's early prelims, then there's the regular prelims, and then there's the main card here. Now, the early prelims are usually fighters I don't know. I don't know them at all for the most part coming into it. So I'm going to leave it to you to tell me about the early prelims. But Gerard Meerschaert is on the early prelim fights here. And we've seen him multiple times. We've talked about him multiple times as well in this early prelim fight, according to the UFC page I'm on. What UFC early prelims should we pay attention to?
The first fight of the night, Susurkayev against Eric McConaughey. McConaughey is an MMA lab fighter. He primarily is a training partner to former champion Jared Cannonier, I think he's a former champ, or at least a former challenger to the champion. Anyway, Jared Cannonier is a leader at the lab. McConaughey is a training partner of his. He's coming in off a win over Cody Brundage in August on his last fight, where we had McConaughey, which was a nice one. Now he steps up against this guy. It's on his second fight after the Contender Series. He took a Contender Series fight, fought a week later in the UFC, looked a little bit sluggish, and it's easy to see why. Second weight cut in a week, had to fight, step up, lights, camera, action. So now he's coming in breathing fire. He's a huge favorite. I just want to mention McConaughey because he's a good, solid fighter, but he's not going to have the feet or the speed of the opponent. There's another fight, Sabatini and Chepe Marichal. Do not miss this fight, because styles make fights, and Sabatini is a vice grip, world-class American wrestler grappler. He is decent on the feet, and if you touch him square on the jaw, he'll go. And who he's fighting is Chepe Marichal, who is got good strength, good takedown defense, profuse power in his hands. And these two fought probably 6-7 years ago before they were each in the UFC. They were younger men. Chepe won a decision in that one. I go back and forth on the fight, but you're going to see a striker against a grappler. And if Chepe's standing throwing, Sabatini's in trouble. If Sabatini's down on the ground with him, then Chepe could be in trouble. Should be just a fascinating fight. You mentioned Mearshart and Daukaus.
Yep.
Mearshart's on his way out. Daukaus is going to finish him in 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, the over-under on that, by the way, is 1.5, and the over is -175. Because I've read a couple people doing my research on this here this week that a couple people said this was going to be a quick fight. But then, like I said, the number right now on DraftKings, 1.5 over -175. So kind of just made me question it a little bit on what I read. And you just said the same thing I've read. So interesting.
I said that Daukaus is going to win in 1 or 2 rounds.
exactly,
That's what I
so.
believe. Mearshart's been finished in his 11 times. He lost his last 3.
Yeah, he struggled.
He's a great guy, but he's a grappler. Blanchfield against Tracy Cortez. That's another rematch. Cortez won it years ago. This is revenge time, and Blanchfield's a big favorite, and she should be. I like the revenge factor.
-258 right now for her. By the way, just so people know, -1,050 is what the line is there
on
for
Siskatayev.
Sakayev against Makhaniko there from the MMA lab from that perspective. So then you got the regular prelims here. They make your money worthwhile. Of course, these fights are free. The prelims and the early prelims are free before they cut it off for you out there. Anybody here? We got Malcolm Wellmaker, Cody Haddon in the prelims here coming up. Gregory Rodriguez, we've seen him fight numerous times, along with Roman Kopylov. He looks familiar to me as well. So you tell me here in this section of the prelims with Bo Nickel and Rodolfo Vieira as well, which one of these fights should we watch?
All of them. Rodriguez and Kopylov. First of all, it's Brazil and Russia. So
Yes.
there's great rivalry there. Kopylov, not your typical Russian vice grip wrestler. He's more a stand-up Muay Thai striker, which is perfect because RoboCop comes in with a black belt in BJJ, but he's also very sturdy and strong on the feet. Kopylov be a little smaller, should be a little faster. RoboCop's been in with better. Should be a whale of a fight. I think they're going to stand and go after it unless one guy gets rung up. I suppose Rodriguez is the legit favorite. Opened as a pick. Rodriguez is a
-180 right now.
short favorite, and so he should be. No strong thoughts there. And then Nickel and Rodolfo Vieira. Now, Bo Nickel, in his last fight, got dominated, got kneed in the gut, and looked like just a small little pasty 6th grader fighting a high school kid. And the world dumped off of him. He's a world-class wrestler that's won on every level he's ever been at. Took this loss against Rene de Ridder. And we remember de Ridder because in de Ridder's next fight, he fought Jared Allen, and he's quit on the stool. And that's the guy that quit on the stool that dominated Bo Nickel. Now you go into this fight, and here you got Bo Nickel against this Rodolfo Vieira. Vieira opens -140. Now Nickel is what? -220.
Yeah.
Yeah.
205 right now on DraftKings. Yeah.
They're on the main card. Why? Why would a guy with such a humiliating the UFC likes him. Why would he be fighting Rodolfo Vieira? Because Vieira is slow as a glacier, has no striking game. This fight's going to be waged in close. It's a setup fight for Nickel. We know the UFC's an entertainment company. We bet Nickel in parlays. I don't know how to lay it out any clearer than that.
Exactly. From there, you said that's a main event card because I have that on the prelims on the UFC page.
That may be the main event on the prelims.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So and usually they put, especially in these ones, they put the really good fights, ones you don't want to miss, in that spot because obviously they hype and sell you buying the main event here coming up, for your $80. So I expect that to be well. Then
I didn't know McCollum on Business was going to break out today.
Exactly. I know the game, man. I know the game. I know that part of the game.
No doubt.
Then your first fight on the main card, lightweight bout here. You got Saint Denis, which we've seen multiple times from France here, going up against Dariush, I'm assuming, here from the United States. Tell me about this fight, and is Saint Denis going to do what's expected of him here as a favorite.
I don't know. Saint Denis fought Moicano, and Moicano beat the brakes off him. Why? Because Moicano could take him down and get him grappled up. Saint Denis rung Poirier's bell, so he's got power, and Dariush is chinny. He's also, Dariush is 36 years old, Saint Denis 29. So Saint Denis going to be faster, stronger, and want to pulverize Dariush. And Dariush, like I say, Dariush can be chinny. That said, if Dariush can get in close, if he can find this fight against the fence or onto the floor, I think he stands at great advantage. And he the only thing keeping me from really supporting him or making a stand for him heavily right now is the age factor. These guys are both lefties, so it's going to be an odd fight,
Ooh.
but
It's going to look weird.
it is going to look real weird. I'm going to regard Dariush as much more live than this line is indicating. He opened Saint Denis minus 300. Now
Ooh.
he's minus what? 190.
180. Yeah. That's
So
that's
there's a little
half
bit
drop,
of trickle
yeah.
of money coming in. You got to respect Dariush.
No, you say an over under on this is 1.5. A lot of 1.5s on this fight. At some of these matches here, minus
1.5
166 to the over.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
that
you're
1.5 leads me to believe that the market thinks that Saint Denis is going to catch Dariush
With that over number? Okay.
with that 1.5
Yeah.
number.
The 1.5 number, yes.
Yeah,
on
I
that,
think
okay.
I think if that goes over 1.5, I think we're looking at Dariush fight.
Okay, so pay attention to that then, everybody out there. That's your first fight on the main card. Then you got Leon Edwards and Carlos Prates, I think is how you pronounce it. We've seen both of these guys battle it out before as well. Right now, Carlos is the minus 170 favorite going into this fight.
Edwards ex-champion. Prates opens minus 160, so he's pretty close. The UFC likes Prates. Edwards has the wrestling to potentially combat Prates' lethal striking and speed and quickness and power. But we've seen Leon Edwards struggle with fortitude. And Prates came out in his interviews this week and says, listen, if you don't have the will to win, then you just don't have the will to win. And he basically called his opponent a quitter. The opponent's saying all the right things, but Leon can be really mentally inconsistent. So, I'll be watching that fight. I think Prates finds him and finishes him.
I remember last time Leon Edwards, and it's rare that I remember what we talk about with these fighters and everything, but I do remember last time he fought, he was either the main event or just underneath the main event, co-main event. And that was what your concern was, and he didn't show up in that fight. I specifically remember that. I don't remember who it was against with Edwards there.
That don't go away.
You can't train that, right?
No, and I mean, if this
You
thing
have it or you
gets
don't.
into they're sitting there on the stool getting ready for the third, and Leon's, each man's taking a beating. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I will say this: Prates is a whiskey drinking out of the bottle, cigarette chain smoking maniac, and you'll see him right after, maybe in the cage when they do the interview, light up a heater.
Just right off the bat.
He's an unbelievable character, but he's a dangerous unbelievable.
That amazes me when guys are they're like peak. He's in better condition as a
Smokes a pack
chain
a day.
smoker than I am.
Yeah.
And I live a healthy
He's
life.
long, skinny dude, and he's dangerous.
Then you got Sean Brady and Michael Morales next up here as well. Brady is a minus 135 favorite. Morales, it says on here, is from Ecuador here. So what kind of fighter are we going to see?
The dude looks like they just took a chisel into granite and carved out this dude that's all cut up. This Morales has unbelievable power in his hands and striking, but he's, I think, being rushed a little bit too quick into this fight. The difference in these two fighters is that Morales' grappling and wrestling is going to be tested here. It's the weakest part of his game that he's still developing. As far as Brady is concerned, the guy's world-class Philadelphia vice grip American wrestler, jiu-jitsu grappler. And if anything, his hands have greatly improved. However, he has had nose and breathing issues, has had operations on his face some years ago. And it was in a fight where he just was totally dominated on the feet. And so he has to engage Morales and get this fight against the fence and at close quarters. If he doesn't, if Morales is allowed this young man to stay on the outside, he could really hurt Brady. 32 for Brady, 26 for Morales. Morales will be a couple inches taller, going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. So Brady cannot allow this fight to stand. I lean to Brady here because of the experience. I think he's going to be able to get in on Morales, take him down, force him to grapple for 2 rounds, gas him out, and then hold control.
7-inch reach advantage. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
How do you get inside when a guy's got that reach advantage? I guess we'll have to find out.
The same way,
with that.
the same way that Dick Butkus, Willie Lanier, and Ray Nitschke did.
Put your head down and then just
You
go.
blitz. You're blitzing, baby.
Co-main event is a women's flyweight title bout here. Valentina
Shevchenko.
Thank you. Against Zhang Weili.
Yes.
Weili?
Weili
Here,
Zhang.
China versus Kyrgyzstan.
Russia and China. This is great. Now, here's the simple truth. Valentina Shevchenko in the history of women's mixed martial arts is the GOAT of women's mixed martial arts, in my opinion. There's a huge community, and I'm the minority, that believes Amanda Nunes is. Well, Shevchenko fought Nunes years ago at 35 and beat her, but they gave the split decision to Nunes. Nunes didn't win the fight. So in my mind, I regard Shevchenko at least on par with Nunes. Surely not a step back, but Shevchenko, who fought at 35 and has always fought bigger women, she fights at 125, is now 37 years old. And she wins her fights on high IQ, deft movement, and pitter-patter number points accrual. She has no power, no finishing ability that she has displayed. And she's getting this champion, Zhang, from China, who's put together. Now, Zhang is 115 champion, and she's now stepping up to 25. Shevchenko will have the larger body, but I'm not convinced she's going to be the stronger fighter. If there's a finish in this fight, I believe it's the young Chinese fighter, Zhang, that has the ability to finish this. And I just think that there comes a time, and I think it's a good spot for Zhang, but most of the people that just read numbers are having a hard time believing that Zhang's going to be able to compete at that level with someone like Shevchenko, who's competed with ladies at 135, let 125. But that was 5, 6, 8 years ago, folks. We got to handicap the fighters that are going to go into the cage on Saturday, and I'm high on Zhang, very high.
Yeah, plus 114 going into this fight.
What's the total there by Kimosabi?
The
4.5 over to $1 million.
minus 270 to the
That's
over.
right. And so don't forget to play Zhang via decision. That's plus 200.
Yeah, exactly. That is plus 200 because under
Yes, sir.
4.5 is plus 200 as
No,
well.
you go to the
So
props.
you go to the
Zhang
props,
decision. They're telling you it's going to a decision with
Yep.
that 4.5.
So
So
go
if I
Zhang
think Zhang's
decision.
winning, I got to try Zhang decision, especially 2-1. That's a nice little piece of price.
Perfect there. And then you've got the main event here. Jack Della Maddalena, plus 230 odds right now to Islam Makhachev here.
Makachev.
Why did I add the Ed off on that?
Makachev is a Russian Dagestani fighting in the shadow of Khabib Nurmagomedov, his coach. They're fighting for Khabib's dad, who passed away a few years ago. Makachev ruled 55, and he cut a great amount of weight and somewhat compromised himself to do it, but he dominated there. Now he's moving to 170, and most handicappers handicapping this fight are saying this. Well, Jack Della Maddalena is the natural welterweight. Jack Della Maddalena is an inch taller. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. So Maddalena, the natural welterweight, is going to be way bigger than Makachev. Wrong-o. And so it ain't just height and weight. Makachev's put this weight on over the course of 9-10 months. He really, sometimes when fighters compromise themselves fighting low when they get to their natural weight, look out. He's a vice grip Dagestani wrestler, and now he's going in against primarily a striker with great get-up ability, meaning Della Maddalena in past fights has been able to get up from the takedown. Most people believe that the Della Maddalena size and striking will carve Makachev on the feet. He has to keep it on the feet. I agree that Della Maddalena has to keep it on the feet in order to win the fight. I don't agree he carves Makachev up. In fact, I see the fight as par on the feet. Makachev's striking is getting totally undersold here. As well, I think that when he does take him down, I think after a couple, 2-3 rounds, Makachev's been through 5-round fights but before Della Maddalena once. I think that the commentary that the size is going to be too much for Makachev doesn't wash with me. And for that reason, I like Makachev, and I used him with nickel in the parlay.
Yep, and Makachev, by the way, now this is interesting to me. Both co-main event with the ladies, and then this one here, champions. You're saying that the underdogs are live in this one, so 2 new possible champions coming into this bat.
No, I just got done saying that Makachev is live. He's the favorite, and I got done saying that.
Yeah, but
John,
he's not the belt holder. John's the champion.
well, you
right?
said underdogs.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so-
champion. So the guys. I apologize.
Yes, I believe
The non-champions are live going in, so we could have 2 new champions.
I
coming
believe so. That's how I
up.
handicap. each
Ignore
fight.
my wording and go with Lou.
Oh yeah, well, I'm
everybody.
trying to listen.
No, you do a good job of
The
it.
main card is really worth the money, guys. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're going to stay up and watch fights, I mean, all I have to do is make sure I don't get into the White Claw till about 7 p.m.
Here's the interesting 5-round fight. Over under here set at 3.5 here, minus 135 to the under. You know, obviously, I know on 3-round fights, if you see the 1.5, it's something I pay attention to. 5-round fight, a 3.5, card
That's
right there. Something
yeah,
to
that's
watch.
a kind of I don't know. Usually those go to 4.5. Listen to this. Early in the week, I found a site that had 1.5, but the 1.5 was minus 350. I bet the ranch on it.
Yeah, I was going to say that even though that's minus 350.
I bet the ranch on
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So what happens? I'll wait until right before the fight.
Wow.
I'll probably put a couple of bucks on fight does not go the distance. That'll probably be a plus price.
Yeah.
And that way I can play the middle that it goes past 1.5, but it don't go to the end of the
Yeah.
fight. And I can get both. It's called arbitrage betting. I do a good amount of it. But yeah, I think Makachev is the real deal, and that Maddalena, if you look at who he's fought against, who Makachev has fought, it's just one-sided.
Yeah, so it's exciting that 2 champions could be dethroned this weekend here in UFC 322 from New York City. Madison Square Garden, 8 p.m. is for the main card. I think that would make it about 2 or 3 p.m. there for the early prelims coming up on Saturday night there as well for UFC 322. And then, Lou, when we come back here, we'll get into the NFL this weekend. We got a lot of good games coming up here. We'll look at how odds have changed. Have they changed at all? Stuff we're paying attention to. Come on back. The main event with Uncle Lou.
We don't usually do it.
Yeah,
that way. We
it
go
was
month to
odd.
month.
Math and me, Lou, don't compute sometimes.
As long as it benefits me, you just keep going.
Exactly. Well, at least you're honest about it.
Of course.
Honest Lou is
That's
what we're going to
that's
call him here.
mojo. You pick up a little old lady's dollar bill, man. You get hit with lightning. Come
Exactly,
on, man.
right? So I was like, what? So very honest guy there, Lou, obviously with his, helping out down there, San Xavier mission and all that. That's why, you do things a little bit different as we talk about on here. And like I said, I tell people all the time, they're like, well, I'm not into gambling. You don't have to be into gambling to listen to this portion. Yes, we talk numbers and that stuff. But, you got a friend there at the office that talks a lot of UFC. You can just talk to him about it, and give you those perspectives. Same thing with the NFL this weekend. Even if you don't put money down onto it, you can talk to your buddies and kind of do that surprise pick here coming up this
The
weekend.
water
And,
cooler pick.
yes, make them impressed as you go into it. I know Dale told you this as he was leaving, but of course, Bears-Vikings are matched up this weekend. And Mike there, head coach there of Scottsdale Christian Academy, big Bears fan as well. He said, you always take the Bears with the over, Lou, because last week you said on the under with that snow that rolled through that area and everything.
And it was a winner.
And he said, oh, was it?
It was a
Ended up being
dead-ass winner. Excuse my French.
I didn't even look it up. I even put it on the under. And I didn't pay
D-A-W,
attention.
a dead arse winner. There's a couple of them this week.
I'd say you obviously watched the weather and everything coming in. I mean, the snow that was coming down with that wind there in Chicago last week. Obviously, well, let's just start with that game since we're talking about it. Bears-Vikings, obviously indoors there in Minnesota. Changes it up here. J.J. McCarthy, to me, I just cannot get my hands around him. He'll win a game late, but he'll struggle at times. Of course, they didn't. They're 4-5 on the season. Vikings need a win here to stay involved in that division. Bears obviously need a win to stay up on the top there at 6-3 going into this. Are people? My impression of Chicago people is they just gamble out. They're like the East Coasters on this. I'm assuming people have jumped onto this Bears bandwagon and are betting them up, and the not that necessarily the lines change week to week, but people are betting them up every week here as they continue to improve and play well.
Right, and they're playing well because their turnover ratio is number one in the NFL at plus 14. If that keeps on, you better just watch out. So the issue is their 28th ranked defense via DVOA. They struggle stopping anything. And Minnesota's got the 14th ranked rush offense. They've got the young running back Jones, I believe his name is come back. So they got the two-headed monster Jones and Mason back. Minnesota, critical game for them. I tend to lean to Minnesota here a little bit. It was 3 in the look-ahead line. It's still 3, but
right.
The total went from 46.5 to currently 48.5, depending on where you're shopping. It's 48.5 anywhere you look, except for 147.5 at FanDuel.
Yeah, FanDuel's
And
47.
and a half. Indoors, carpet, Chicago with a porous defense, and young McCarthy with some decent receivers. We'll see. I don't know that Chicago's offense, 16 against the 17 defense for Minnesota, can be anything but competitive. And so I lean to Minnesota here. You're only given 2.5 points.
2.5 right now, yeah.
I maybe would tease it all the way through to 3.5 Minnesota, meaning a 6-point teaser, turning Minnesota to plus 3.5, or I'd use them on the money line.
And the money line, minus 154 for Minnesota right now as well for the people that want to look at that.
Yeah, and if I did that, then I wouldn't bet it straight. I'd use Minnesota on the money line with a later game, and if you get the Minnesota in, you can bet one unit with another game and win more than one unit. I don't want to bet $1.54 for a unit and win $54.86.
Yeah, that's the thing on that side. But I just think, in terms of that side, I'm actually surprised that the Vikings are 2.5 point favorites and that line's only moved that half a point. And maybe it'll change as we get closer to Sunday. I just always have this vision that Chicago people will move Chicago lines. Bears fans will move those lines as the week goes on. Has always been my impression going into this. So let me ask you about tonight's game. I know Thursday night, it's a different thing for you and everything, but Patriots are on fire right now. Everybody's jumped on this Patriots bandwagon with Drake May and all of that stuff. Everybody's jumped off the Jets bandwagon with their offense being terrible, all of that stuff happening. The thing that catches me eye is 12.5-point spread here going into tonight. Between these two teams, Patriots are favorites on that. Anytime I see double digits, it makes me think about the other team. I cannot pull the trigger on the Jets with how bad they are, but that's the fan in me, Lou. What's to look at tonight?
At Circa, at Caesars, at BetMGM, the South Point, Hard Rock, Fanatics, New England's 13. The longer we wait, the closer we get to game time. You're going to see 13.5, maybe even a 14. They're going to be playing outside in cold weather, but that doesn't bother either team. You know how goofy I am on these 3-team 10-point teasers.
Yes, that's why I asked.
Yeah, and we released one via VSiN that's been public since it was released on Monday.
I think it was
Okay,
Monday,
it's
right?
been, you go to VSiN, it's on their releases page, and it's New England minus 1.5 because at the time they were 11.5. So by the time that game goes off at 13, we're going to hold 11.5 points of value. So basically, I just got to have New England win this game by a field goal, and I carry into my next two 10-point stages. So that's what I do early in the week, especially this time of year. I mean, here it's Phoenix, it's 84 and sunny. You don't understand the kind of weather the rest of the country has until you look at this thing. And here's another thing. Weather reports, when I was doing this in the 80s, they were 50-50, especially in the Midwest. You didn't know. Let me tell you something about weather reports in 2025. They knows. They knows. They got wind maps. I can go to wind chime or something. I can see the directions. I can blow the stadium up and see which way and how strong. And believe me, that I spend a ton of time doing that to try and get this 1.5, 2.5 points of advantage. What's the other game that's going to have that kind of issue in is Pittsburgh, Cincinnati.
It has to be the Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
game.
it's Pitt and Cincy, and that number has kind of stayed level, but the wind is going to be substantial there. You're probably going to have snow as well. The only thing keeping me from jumping on that is that neither of those two teams can stop a sneeze.
Yes.
They could put up 80 on me. So really, in an ideal world, I'm taking 41s and 42s and taking them up 10 and going under low spreads, not necessarily high spreads. And with that New England game, you can see that one's now at 43.5, 43, open 44.5, kind of pressing down.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Especially with that late night New England weather,
The crisp weather. But again, both teams. This is football weather, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna see guys out with no shirts on, and I'll tell you what. I walked my dogs today at 4:30 in the morning, and it was 58 degrees. I was freezing my rear end off.
Yeah. I'm complaining about going to the ASU game on Saturday where it's supposed to be raining, and I'm like, what am I going to wear? This is ridiculous. It's going to be cold. I'm going to get wet. And these guys living it all the time back there, right?
That's called living room TV, baby.
Well, that's the thing. Watching that Bears game last week, it was pretty funny because I was like, "Oh, thank God!" I'm like, my AC just kick on, and I'm watching them playing the.
No,
snow.
it is, and it's cold, and people are in coats drinking coffee. It's like that's the one thing I will say living in Phoenix. That come November, like we're in, you turn on Michigan, and in the afternoon it's sunny, but everybody's got a coat and. And gloves, and it's cool and everything. And our air conditioning's still going.
I know. It's always a fun.
I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Thing to see here. Another game that catches my eye this weekend is Buccaneers and Bills battling it out, 6-3. Both of them, I think, are two teams that need a win coming up here. Even though they're both 6-3, there's some question marks that have creeped in, especially on the Bills side of things. Bills are 5.5-point favorites on FanDuel right now going into this game here on Sunday. 47.5 is the over-under, by the way.
What do you suppose they were in the look-ahead?
If I had to guess, 3.5 Bills, maybe?
So you would think that after last week's Bills performance, people would be betting him
I
more?
think I'm more down on me personally. I'm more down on the Buccaneers way they're playing
Why?
than I am the Bills right now. Just Buccaneers aren't looking right either. That's true. That's true. The Bills did look bad last week.
So
They
the
played
Bills
Miami.
were 6.5
Yeah, you're right.
a week ago.
Yeah, so you're right. It
They
would
lay
be
an
Bills
egg
more.
against Miami. Now they're only 5.5 this week.
Yeah.
Okay. There's no real situational advantage in this game here. If I'm a Tampa fan and this game's in Buffalo, I'd much rather have 6.5 than the 5.5. I'm scared of this game a little bit. And there is going to be a little bit of wind in Buffalo, not enough to matter. These two teams got the look like they could throw it all over the yard. Tampa Bay is going to dominate this Buffalo defense, and the Buffalo offense finds itself against the 7th-ranked Tampa Bay defense that's balanced, 4th against the run, 6th against the pass. Boy, I'd like to get that 6 with Tampa. If I could get there, I lean to Tampa in this situation. You also understand that our position on the season-long Bills, I said at the beginning of the year, after 5 weeks, I'm going to look beat. After 16 weeks, I'm going to have won. I still believe that's very, very possible. The Bills could be re-entering the atmosphere with a bunch of loose lug nuts.
Yeah, and I don't know what's the weather going to be like up there in Buffalo, because Tampa doesn't go
Buffalo
up
in
into warm
November
stuff.
on a night. It's going to be cold and windy. It's just not over 12 or 14 wind yet to trigger me looking at the total.
It just it's, those Tampa boys, they get up there, and if it's 50 degrees, they're might as well be 20 below at that point.
Now understand that total now is now 47.5 or 48, and it opened 49.5. So the wind may be affecting things a little bit, plus some Tampa injuries.
Yeah, that's the other side of it. That's why I was thinking. I completely wasn't factoring in the Miami debacle that happened last week with the Bills as well. So.
Well, that's what you're paying me to do, my friend.
That's why we bring you on. You give us.
That's right.
You take us out those fan perspectives and fan ideas of what are happening out there, and you tell us the cold reality.
But I'll
of
tell
what's
you what. I
happening.
mean, they got Tampa, a tough team at home tonight or this weekend, and that's that's on Sunday. Then they turn around and travel Thursday to Houston, tough defensive team across the country in a bad spot. So, boy, if I can get Tampa to win in this game, I think Houston's live too.
Oh, really? Really? All right. I don't hear that too much often this year. Then you got Chargers, Jaguars this weekend. This one intrigues me just because the Chargers, with their injury bugs and everything, just keep winning, and they have to do it to stay alive in that. In that division with the Broncos, with their 8-2 record, Chiefs right behind the Chargers, kind of chipping at their heels here going into this game. Now, this game is in Florida, so the weather, I know it's LA in Florida, but, a little bit more humidity over there in Jacksonville. Going to this game, Jacksonville needs a win like nobody's business. Chargers are coming in 3-point favorites. Did this line move at all is my question here early in this week, at least on Thursday.
A lot. Went from 1 to 3. That's a lot of movement. And it did so because Chargers looked so good in whipping whoever they whipped last night, but it was Sunday night football. Bad spot now. You have a big emotional win on Sunday night. Now you got to get ready in short week and travel all the way to the East Coast to get into a game against Jacksonville. So if this number's now 3, I'd keep waiting, and Jacksonville plus 3 teased up.
It was the
plus
Steelers
3.5.
they played last week, by the way.
Yeah,
So you know.
so Jacksonville's the look here. It's the water cooler pick because most everybody going to tell you the Chargers are back and they're a good team.
That's what I brought up. Jacksonville, I thought, was going to win that division this year and compete. Obviously, the Colts have surprised us. But I've kind of taken the shine off of the Jaguars here these last few weeks and kind of questioning what they're doing in their existence out there. So for me, that's definitely a water cooler look there with the Chargers.
Yeah, they've
here.
had some injuries, but we'll see. There's a lot of football left to be played.
Absolutely. From that, so other morning games as well coming up here. I'm always curious on this. Now, Giants made a head coaching change this week. Jameis Winston's going to be the starting quarterback. Jackson Dart is, in concussion protocol there. They're playing the Packers, and Packers are off this year when they play bad teams. They play down to those teams' levels here. as well. Now you got the coaching change in the Giants, maybe an uptick in their play. What say you?
Yeah, I don't have much on this game. Green Bay's off Monday Night Football. Ask me about Cincy, Pitt,
That's
Carolina,
coming next.
Atlanta. I want to talk about stuff where there's something you can sink our
Well,
teeth
Carolina,
into.
Atlanta, really?
I'm looking. Hey, listen, I am in the business of earning money making bets on football games. I don't give two whoops whether or not the game's attractive to the general public or not. I'm looking for advantage in my numbers, and that's where they come. I wish they could be the games you want to talk about, but they aren't.
But that's why I'm asking. People aren't putting into that Giants' new head coaching situation with the Packers. Play down to that level. That's kind of where my question was going towards. Obviously not.
The line's not moved. The look ahead. But think about it. I mean, how do you bet that game? You don't know what kind of New York Giants you're going to get. What we do know is that the team really likes Jameis, and that the new coaches said that Jameis is probably going to start.
Yeah.
So that adds some complexity and some intrigue. But rather than spec, because Jameis could go for 300 and throw four interceptions.
Yes.
So I don't have to rush without advantage. I'll watch to earn advantage.
So what was the game you just mentioned that kind of shocked me there? The
Carolina,
and the
Atlanta.
Falcons. Yeah, I mean, tell me what you're looking at there.
Well, here's what I'm looking at. Atlanta, where were they last week? Oh, yeah, they were in Berlin. So Atlanta played a game in Berlin last week, got beat, got on an airplane, comes home. Now they got to face Carolina, their rival, and Carolina boat raced them the last time they played. Oh, everybody going to say Atlanta's got all that revenge. Well, the look ahead was 3.5. It's still 3.5. Carolina beat them once, and looked like Carolina might beat them again.
Yeah, 3.5.
That's a huge
deal
advantage
there.
for Carolina. All that travel for a team 3-7 or so in Atlanta that's underachieved. I think that's a good spot for Carolina. And then we go to Cincy and Pitt.
Yep.
Okay, Pittsburgh takes a beating in L.A. I keep wanting to say San Diego. In L.A., gets back, goes in short week. Now they're at home, and they're getting Cincinnati, division rival, and Cincy's off a bye. So great spot for Cincinnati, if you want my opinion. This number, the Sharps agree, because the number was 6.5. Now it's down to 5. So we'll see what happens here, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Cincinnati competed. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that game had 80 points in it. And that's why we talked about the weather being, when I look at those two defenses, DVOA is like looking at Swiss cheese. Let me show you here. Cincinnati 32 and Pittsburgh 15, but their rush D is 24th. So Cincinnati can throw on anyone, and they'll throw on Pittsburgh. I think this could be a circus.
Exactly. And the over-under on that game is 49.5 as of right now, as on a FanDuel.
Yeah, and it was 48.5 a week ago. So again, you see that tick up. Yeah. And again, if I want to do teasers and I want to go under, I'd sure like it in a sluggish, constipated game like 42 or 43, not a 50 where they're thinking it's going to be all kinds of points.
Now let's talk a little bit NFC West here, right? You got Seahawks Rams this weekend. This is a big matchup here for them. I'm shocked at the line right now on FanDuel is -3 for the Rams on this. Thought it would be closer. What was the look-ahead line in this game with the way the Seahawks looked against the Cardinals last week, the way the Rams have looked lately as well, both 7-2 going to this game? Has this line moved at all?
No, it was 3 a week ago.
Really?
And when I did my numbers, I made it 2.5. So I don't have any issues. I'm not surprised by the line in the least. So you're saying you view Seattle as good as or superior team to LA?
Yeah, I think this is the battle for not just the division, but also two of the better teams in NFL playing right now. Is what I would.
I don't.
So I would guess.
I don't agree with it. I
would have guessed a
disagree
1.5 difference is what. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's huge difference, but I would have thought it would.
So
be
you're
closer
taking
to
Seattle in
1.5.
3, huh?
I like the Seattle in 3 if that's
Okay.
what you're giving me.
Okay.
Absolutely, the way they play, and I'm not just basing that off the Cardinals game last week. I've liked Seattle all year long. That you gave us those defensive stats last week. Obviously, it's changed because they dominated the Cardinals last week.
Let me give you the DVOA.
Yeah.
and this is why you picked the game, because innately you knew it. Seattle's offense, 4. Seattle's defense, 3. Not only are they good, they're good both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
LA's offense, 2. Their defense, 6. Another team with great balance and good. These two are 2 top teams. What's Seattle against the spread? 7-2. They're covering spreads and taking names. What's LA? 7-2. So something's got to give in this game. And when you get a game like this and the number's 3, they're basically saying they don't know. They're giving it home field for any good football team is maybe 2, mostly 1.5. For LA, it's 1. Okay, so I think LA is a 1.5 better on a neutral field than Seattle. That's why I got to the 2.5.
Okay.
We'll have to see if it's probably a watch because I think I like the Denver-Kansas City game more. It's on at the same time, and I tend to not have a whole lot of action at the same time on late games. I tend to focus on one game where I can play into.
And by the way, I'm not. I like Seahawks +3, but this is a game that I just want to watch and just enjoy it if I had the choice. Because I don't know, I could see the Rams winning this easily as well. Winning this as well. So
should be
it's
a
gonna
great
fun.
game. Totally,
and that's why I look at it. Because when I look at it, I'm like, if you're gonna put money on this, like, how do you do this for an advantage in a game where 2 teams are so evenly matched going into it? And that's kind of what I was looking at there. Before we get to that Chiefs-Broncos game, Cardinals-49ers this weekend. Both are walking mash units coming into this game. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm shocked that the Cardinals are 3-point dogs in this game. Thought it would be a little bit more, even with the Niners injuries, because I don't know who's going to catch footballs for the Cardinals this weekend with Marvin Harrison Jr. now out and
Wilson
some
and
of those other
Dortch
guys coming into it. So has this line moved with all these injuries, or has it been 3 the whole time?
That's a good question. It was a pick. So now you got San Fran 3.
Yep.
So, and San Fran -8 turnover ratio. And they've been dinged up all over. Listen, if you could wave a wand and say, come week 16, every team in the NFL is going to be 100% healthy, I'd put San Francisco Super Bowl future down right now.
Yeah.
Right now. But I can't trust that. And so you got a lot of unknown with their injuries. And you got more injuries on the Arizona side of the ball.
More important ones.
And we just found out that the glass slipper that Brissett was wearing broke last week. So there's a lot of work to do in the desert. I tend to think that San Francisco's the side here. There's quarterback issues here. It's just been – this isn't an easy situation. We'll see how the team reacts. Not a game I want to bet.
Yeah. Just the local team, we talk about them out. And I agree. I'm just so shocked. I expected to see 5 or 6 as a difference there, just from the 49ers perspective coming into this game. Chiefs-Broncos, you said you're looking forward to this one. I am as well. Broncos just win. It's all smoke and mirrors, it feels like. But they go out there and they win these games. They can score a lot of points. They can come back at the end of the game. They can win a game, 6-3 as well. Here, and Chiefs need a win here at 5-4 on the season against their division foe coming into this game. And my phone just shut down on me for the line there. But tell us what you're thinking about this game. By the way, 3.5-point favorite for the Chiefs this weekend in Denver.
Yeah, and there's a 4 or 2 out there, and it'll get to 4, maybe even 4.5 if you're patient, because it's a big public side with Kansas City. And I get it. Not only do you have the coach and the quarterback, you got a team that's getting healthy, and then you got this obtuse statistic about Reed off a bye.
Yeah.
He don't lose off a bye. So you got all that going into a team that Chiefs have won in Denver for like 20 years. The Denver hasn't won at home against the Chiefs. But this is a little bit different. The Chiefs have played – I wrote this down somewhere, and I needed to save it. The Chiefs have played over the last 3 weeks the Bills, the Commies, and the Raiders. Those defenses together are terrible, and everybody's believing in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Denver's defense ain't what those are. Let me tell you right now. Denver wants to win at home. Denver's 8-2. They should be 9-1 because they were robbed of a win in Indianapolis. I've been high on Denver for a long time. I'm still high on them. I think they're going to shellac our Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Yeah, and they're 3.5
Give me
point
4
dogs.
points with the Denver at home, and all I'll do is say thank you.
I was going to say, so because a lot of money now it's minus 120, 3.5, minus 3.5 for the Chiefs, minus 120. So you're
We're
that's
not
going to
betting
move
it
to
now.
4.
They're the underdogs, so we're waiting until right before game
what I'm
time,
saying.
and then you won't see that. You're going to see +4 or
Yep.
plus 4.5.
So
That's
be
what you're
patient with that one.
Yes.
Coming up as well. The last game I want to talk to you about here is Sunday Night Football. Lions Eagles facing off here as well. 2.5-point favorites here for the Eagles at home against the Lions. Campbell took over the offensive play calling this week from his offensive coordinator, and so they're making changes there, kind of disproportionate going into this game. 6-3 Lions, 7-2 Eagles coming into this game. Like I said, it's 2.5-point favorites to the Eagles right now.
Yeah, and it was 1.5. They were 1.5 a week ago, so they saw Philly win in Green Bay. They believe they're betting Philly. So let's look at Detroit because they look a lot like LA and Seattle. Offense, DVOA, 5. Defense, 5. Philadelphia offense, 8. Defense, 14. Defense, 14. Run defense, 21.
Oof.
Detroit, 6th ranked rush DVOA. This head coach for Detroit and these two running backs for Detroit are going to just pulverize the midsection of this Philadelphia defense. Both teams are 6-3 against the spread, so they're hot and they're coming in. They're coming in ready to go. But Philadelphia has to overcome the fact that they played last Monday night. So even though they're home, they're 1-day rest disadvantage over a motivated Detroit team. I'm all about Detroit here.
Do you take into account all the distractions happening in Eagles land right now? Like A.J. Brown's, doing a lot of talking. They're having to answer a lot of questions for him. They look like they're tired of answering questions about it. Does that factor in? Is that at all going into this game, or is that just off to the side?
White noise. White noise. That stuff is designed to get all the public worked up. And the other thing that gets the public really worked up the last few years is these injuries. When you see Barbie doll, the sports gal sitting in front of the TV talking about, the right tackle for the Tampa Bay might be out this week, worse, you know that it's gone too far, okay? So the overreaction is foundational to what I do. I need it. I love it. But we have to be able to separate what's handicapable and what is what we can monetize against what is out there for the public.
All right, so the big shocker one for me at least, Panthers, Falcons. That's something that you gave us information that none of us as fans were really thinking about. The Falcons travel schedule
that's
lately.
The nausea
Yes.
football game. You watch it and you get nausea.
That's what you do. You bring that type of knowledge to us here. So when you're talking to your fans, your friends there at work tomorrow, just throw that game out there with that little bit of knowledge and how you like the Panthers in that game as well. So Lou, I appreciate it as always. Always a good time with Uncle Lou on Thursdays here at the main event. We'll see y'all next week. McCollum on Business coming up at 11 as well. Lou, go have a good week, would you? Everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And yes, big on Denver as well.
Denver.
That's 3.5 right now. Wait till it goes up to 4, though.
Please.
Patience on that. We'll see y'all later on tomorrow. And, of course, McCollum on Business coming up. Thanks for joining us, everyone.